Why, hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death. So, let's talk experience.
Yeah.
You need experience from last session and from the little bit that we did this session. So,
I'm trying to think what experience there would be this session. I guess it was a little
you
bit.
explored a new town, you looted a treasure chamber, you discovered a little bit more
I
about...
thought magic items were rewarded in and of themselves.
They are, but there's some... You discovered a little bit about the girl and kind of the history of the steam walls, or maybe not the history, the type of people that they are.
Yeah.
And the treasure chamber, I think...
Dark country.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on there.
I feel like this is you're using your current campaigns as prep for Age of Strife. Honing your skills in this...
Maybe, but I think in that sense, every campaign prepares for the next campaign. You know, it's improving.
Sure. Yeah.
But I do think I have my... Well, we'll get to that another day. I think you're onto something there, heavily.
So, I have 24 spell levels from last time and 7 from this time by my count.
Okay.
Total of 31 times 50, 1,500.
Okay. Plus, let's see, how much there were. What did we say? That would be time.
Have you looked at Reddit? Eben did a good job of cataloging the dead.
No, I'm ignoring that. I'm going off my own accurate measurements.
What? You do not trust Eben, cleric of Verossi, to count your dead?
I think it's the DM awards experience. Experience does not come from chat. As much as they would like to be able to dole it out and run the game themselves and play the game themselves, the game must stay between the two of us. All right, then there were the soldiers, there were the first level mercenaries, there are the knights, of which there were many.
There was a wizard and a baron. If he's anything like my baron, is probably just a 0th level fighter.
How much experience do we
That's something I appreciate about this campaign.
What?
Maybe your approach. But in most D&D settings, for no reason whatsoever, the king or the baron or what have you is just like, he's the baddest dude around. He's an 11th level fighter just because he's the baron and he's the boss, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
No. We like our nobles soft.
I think there should be a mix.
It's all powerful.
As a quick spoiler, Baron Steamwall is a 3rd level fighter, but Baron Song is a 0th level fighter. It depends on the person, but I like mixing it up.
0th, 1st, 20th. I care not. My stone skin will deflect all their blows.
Okay.
What I really need now is a shield. I need to start a spell wish list. I did not realize until the wizard fight last week that shield and magic missile, they are like the bread and butter of a dueling wizard. And I'd always ignored those spells. Yeah.
How much experience did you say you got for your spell levels?
I didn't actually add it, but it was 31 spell levels, so 1550.
Okay. All right, so the total amount for the siege is going to be divided by
3, 4.
I'm gonna say 4 because there was Kelkrailer, Haynes, Crystal, and then a bunch of soldiers, which should do some work for you. So we'll divide it by 4. So after dividing it by 4, it comes out to 4167.
Okay.
Plus your 1550. Plus, let's do some for today's stuff, the looting of some role-playing experience. All right. And let's just round that out to an even 9,650.
Including 10% bonus?
Not including 10% bonus.
All right. So you said 9,650?
So 10,615 with the 10%.
All right. Bringing me to a grand total of 112,917.5.
Out of your
135. Yeah.
35? Ah.
And I'm honestly not in a huge hurry to hit. So level 9 is such a big. We were talking about this during the break about even like having to change the way the campaign is organized when I hit level 9, because I think I automatically will get potion recipes and I can write scrolls. So it'll immediately be like, all right, 2 years of downtime. How many healing potions have I made? Kind of thing. We'll have to go into accounting on that. And then the level 4 spells or 5 spells are gonna be sweet.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get a lot.
Yeah, teleport, and I'm hoping for Wall of Iron. Build myself a wizard tower with it, but we'll see. But I think I'm pacing of the campaign. I'm glad to have another session or two before we.
I think will be. I mean, that was a lot of experience for 2 sessions. I think it'll be a little while before you hit 9.
Hey, I might just kill a dragon. You never know.
Where are you gonna find a dragon?
I might just march up to
Berkshire.
I was going to say to Fortune and slay a whole nest of vampires. You never know how much experience I could farm.
That's true.
But I think I'd probably have more pressing matters. So so experience gauge, still level 8. Where are we picking back up?
I think it's gonna take a little bit of time.
The army or Baron Song?
Baron Song and his troops arrived back in the evening.
And not even troop. This is like his guard. Baron Song and his
personal
guards. Mm-hmm. We need an army. There were 1,500 loyal cultists, and Baron Song did not want to turn them into an armed militia to loot and pillage Cauldron.
Well, I
think
think
probably a good strategic move.
I think the bigger question, which will be puzzling you, or which is to puzzle over later, is the fact that Baron Song has 41 villages under his command, each of which is supposed to be able to produce him a knight and soldiers when called upon to do so.
Is this including the 15 villages that
No, not including your villages.
Carl owns?
Correct. So technically he can call those up, but he didn't. So I think that's another question. Maybe he didn't think he had time.
Oh, can we retcon removing the flag from Cauldron?
I didn't even hear that you did it.
No, we didn't. I didn't mention it, but I'm thinking that would have been something. I thought of it approaching, and you described the flag. Did we unflag it, or is
and if you want to, you can have unflagged it.
Yeah, I think we would have taken it down.
Okay.
Just as a
symbol.
I guess we already nailed his daughter's torn dress to the door of his team. That's a pretty. Yeah, I would have gone with that.
But we're gonna take a couple of days.
Yeah. So
everyone goes through the dead at the battlefield and kind of brings them in. A grave gets dug. Just one big mass grave gets dug for them. Their pockets get rifled through. Their treasure gets added to the Baron Song's treasure. Actually, their treasure gets divided up among the troops. And in the process, someone comes across a satchel that was dropped on the battlefield that contains a bunch of the spell components for the wizard that you slew. All the spell components that you would need to cast her spells, which does include some valuable items.
Yes. Moretta's spell components.
Yes. Actually, we're going to change her name because I finally found her name in my notes. Her name was... Shit, where did it go? Natasha, not Loretta. Natasha.
Seemed like a nice gal. Why did she try to murder me?
Loyalties, man. They'll do weird
Almost
things
did
to you.
Too. Yeah. What? Yeah. So I I've already taken a peek at her spellbook, even though I haven't read Magic it yet. I think you sent it to me. Maybe you didn't.
Maybe
I
I
was.
did. I will send it to you now if you don't have it already. I think her spellbook is behind a login wall. Oh, no, wait, I think it'll be fine.
It's fine. I probably won't even get around to studying it quite yet. So I guess, I'm assuming that Baron Song and the men returned with all the loot just fine. They didn't get hit by bandits.
Totally fine.
Ambushed by... Where the hell is Steamwald and his 25 or so remaining soldiers?
I don't know.
We really should figure this out. I guess it's like the middle of the night. It's like late at night when we get home.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably wind down and we'll deal with the morning. But Baron Song gets home sometime later. We loot. Next day, we dig a mass grave.
Yes. Laborers get brought out from the town to dig a mass grave.
Yeah,
and Baron Song sits on his horse, overseeing the entire digging and burying of the mass grave.
Are my lovely redsmiths present?
They come back to help you bronze the skeletons.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to pull them away from the digging.
No, the redsmiths wouldn't be used for brute force digging. But I forget his name. Your newfound friend, Jebub, is there.
Jebub is an unskilled way. Oh, yeah, he's digging the mass grave.
Yes, sir. Jebub's digging away.
I enlarge Jebub so he and my shovel.
Yes.
Or maybe he's got his own shovel.
Yes, you can.
Actually, can I hand Jebub my shovel, my pickaxe? And I guess the axe is not useful here. Shovel and the pickaxe. And I enlarge him and them. And he can dual wield shovel and pickaxe size large. He hands the extra large shovel to someone else. I can memorize a couple enlarges.
Yeah, you can memorize.
I don't get that enthusiastic about it.
But you make it go a little faster.
Jebub needs to work on needs to train as a gravedigger. So it will be a useful skill. I can
Jebub might be your first henchman.
Oh God, no. I murder the wizard apprentice option, and I wind up with a
jolly gravedigger. He's
He's
like the twisted version of Santa Claus.
Yeah. All right. So I want to go back into town for intel. If it doesn't come to us.
Yeah, sure. I figured you guys would take a couple of days to just rest after that, but
yeah,
you can do what you want in downtime.
Do we get any news on the army's movement? Like, you can't move 25 people. I guess you could over the plains. They didn't go through. No one in Misty Rapids saw them.
No.
No one. Okay. Does Vanessa ever come back? She's been unaccounted for.
She does arrive back a few days
Show
later
up with a bunch of mercenaries.
She shows up with a bunch of mercenaries.
How many days later is this?
5 days later.
Okay, I will be scrying around a bunch. I will cast an identify actually in one of those days. We'll probably have bronze knoll skeletons actually. And I haven't decided which person to raise. I skinned the jeweler.
Yes, you did. And
that's easy.
Defleshed him.
What's that?
And defleshed him.
Yeah.
Boiled him.
Yeah, that's some heavy shit. Do I really want him following me around? Well, I guess one human skeleton is interchangeable with another, correct?
You probably don't. If you have multiple human skeletons, I don't think you even can tell them apart anymore.
Seen so many bodies. All right. This twisted world you create for us, Neil. You're a sick son of a bitch, you know that?
Well, I create what I feel my players want. The more twisted my players are, the more twisted the world is. If you guys were being virtuous and knightly, the world would be similarly. I am a reflection of you and your inner soul. Oh,
God. What does that say about me? I don't believe you. I can't believe you. Flame chat. You're sick, chat. How dare you want to watch this?
We're all a little twisted, maybe. Just a little bit. Everyone's a little bit racist and everyone's a little bit twisted.
Yeah. Fuck elves, seriously.
Elves. Anywho,
Um,
Baron Song turns away the mercenaries without any pay. They begin to protest until they realize
don't-
that,
we can't afford to keep mercenaries. Why don't want mercenaries?
he turns them away, shaking his head no.
I'm really confused. I kind of want mercenaries. What do they call us? Like 1 gold a day?
A gold a day plus looting rights.
Oh, and if you're not looting, do they just get mad that you're making them hang around?
Well, then it's easy work. They just sit around and eat your food and sleep in your beds and drink your wine and get paid a gold a day to do it.
All right. Okay, so she just took too long, but she did.
Yeah.
How many men did she bring out of curiosity? How much easier would that fight have been?
She brought 40 men.
God, it would have just been. It wouldn't even have been a. Well, there probably would have been a lot more casualties. I would have blown up a lot of our own mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, it was kind of easy to have a battlefield full of enemies, because then I could just be like, well, I lightning bolts in this general direction, and no allies there, because we have 10.
So I'm just going to skip ahead like 5 or 6 days while all this happens, and you guys
what do we
rest
want to take
up.
care of first? Let's take care of identify, I guess.
Of course. What would you like to identify?
I will do the axe. I will offer to Haynes to identify his spear.
Sure.
I will do the shield.
Yes.
I think that's all the new ones that I've got. Yeah.
Okay. What's your chance to do it?
80.
All right. The axe is first. It is just a magic plus something axe. No other properties. The shield is next. Same thing. Just a magic plus something shield. No properties. The spear. You fail.
Ooh. Bummer.
Was there anything else?
What would I need to prepare? I don't think I actually have anything else that got into those magicals. All those magic weapons. The amulet I have. No, I failed the amulet before.
Actually, you know what? You would have. I think when you went through Natasha's stuff, you would have noticed that she had a magic wand stacked in her bag as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I would have at some point gone through everything with the detect magic.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's do a detect, identify on the wand. I take it you would do that as well.
Of course.
Okay. You succeed. And the first magic wand of the game.
Yeah.
Any dicing with death game, I think. Right?
Maybe. Maybe.
We don't do a lot of wands, rods, and stabs.
Yeah. Because only wizards can use them, and wizards and dumb thieves.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, can bards can, right? Maybe not. I don't know. Bards are weird. I feel like I had a wand because my lightning bolt requires my glass rod, so it makes me feel like a wizard. I still get to keep a wand on me. Well, a glass dildo.
Okay.
Kind of the same thing.
Let's see. If any form of magic is in operation or a magical item exists within 30 feet of a foot radius, this wand will pulse and point to the strongest source. Note that it will point to a person upon whom a spell has been cast.
Well, that's useless. It's just going to point straight to me the whole time. But actually, it will point straight to the amulet the whole time, won't it?
Probably.
Okay, I will look for more properties on that, and I guess the axe and shield just to confirm.
The wand. Operation requires one round, and successive rounds will point out successively less powerful magic radiation. Schools of magic can be determined if one round is spent concentrating on the subject emanation 1 round is expended per turn, or faction thereof, because a turn is 10 rounds, or fraction thereof of use. Starting with the 2nd round of continuous use, there is a 2% cumulative chance per round the wand will temporarily malfunction and indicate non-magical items as magical or vice versa. And then you go a 3rd detection on that, and you get nothing. And then the axe comes back as no other properties, and the shield comes back as no other properties.
Can I... What sufficiencies do I have? I have engineering, religion, spellcraft. Can I come up with some useful detail of the spear so that I don't feel like a complete waste of time when I hand it back to Haynes?
What do you mean?
Can we confirm that the feathers are in fact griffin feathers? I mean, I don't know what Gayer would notice about it, but I have engineering. Like I will know what it's made out of. I think after spending.
It is a redwood shaft wrapped in griffin leather with the shock of a griffin mane hanging around the blue steel tip. The word Orasteel is circumscribed around the neck of the spearhead.
Nice. I will tell that to Haynes. I will point out... I hope it's not a command word. But I will tell him that it appears its name is Orasteel, and let's hope it doesn't blow up when I say that.
It does not.
And yeah, I'll explain what you just explained to him. And pretend like that's what I meant to find out. And that's totally what my spell did.
He nods and goes outside and practices throwing the spear against a wall. Seems pleased with it.
On detect magic is what I'm going to call it for now. That's pretty sweet. Save me a spell slot more or less. Magic axe. Magic axe is it's just like a really nice. It's a battle axe or is it a?
It is a battle axe. Single-headed. Maybe like 3 foot haft on it. The head of the axe is actually made out of bronze, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tempered to have these various like waves kind of rolling through it. The wood seems, let's say, almost like it's splinters of other pieces of wood. Like in the modern day, you could like grab all these splinters of wood and crush them together under press with glue and then have like this cool splintered looking axe haft. Mm-hmm. But clearly they don't have glue or the sort of presses that we have in the modern era. So it looks like splinters of wood have come together to form the shaft of the axe.
Cool.
The shield is...
Baron Song's second magic shield. Yes. Are you at? You can add the shield, and I have the axe. You can add the shield to Misty Rapids treasure list.
I don't know if I have a list of
I actually have a. I haven't. I wound up with a slot on my character sheet. If you'd like me to keep track of the shield.
I would, if you don't mind keeping track of the wealth.
Does it have any? That's probably going to hang around my bedroom, but.
It is
actually, can a mage use a shield?
I don't see why not.
Live in fear.
It's not armor. You have to put it down to cast a spell, and it takes a round to strap it to your arm.
Okay, I can't cast a spell with it. It's okay.
Not with the somatic component.
Evans suggests we start melting the dead horses to make a glue factory. Yep.
You could raise skeletal horses and ride them instead of your own.
I'm not a necromancer.
No, but instead of raising the dead gnolls, you could raise a horse and ride a skeletal horse.
I could do both. How many hit dice does a horse have?
3.
How many hit dice does a unicorn have? Bronzed unicorn? Oh.
Whoa, man. Too bad you took its horn off. I guess you could put it back on in the raising.
Or make a horn in its place.
A unicorn is 4 + 4.
So that would be it. Oh no, does a +4 count as a... I think it would
just be a 5 hit die horse. 5 hit die undead unicorn. If it's a zombie, no.
But we've already bronzed the gnolls.
So it'd be a 4 hit die skeletal unicorn.
I could just do 2 gnolls and 2 horses.
Why do you need 2 horses?
I don't know, because that's how many hit die I can make.
Oh.
I can only because I can. Oh no, I can do 1 hit die per. So I can do 2 horses and the unicorn, or 2 gnolls and the unicorn.
How many hit dice are gnolls? 2?
2, right?
So the unicorn's 4, the horse, the hit 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But it would be cast at the 1 level higher than the scroll was made at, or the level required to cast the spell. So animate dead is a 5th level spell, which means you need to be 9th level to cast it.
Yes, so there's probably 10% chance that I fail, actually. Although I am sacrificing using a soul in the amulet.
So it's actually 10 hit die worth of creatures.
Okay, so that will be... Okay, so we can do 3 gnolls and the unicorn?
You can do 3 gnolls and the unicorn, yeah.
I think that's what we're going to do. Do we bronze the unicorn? I don't think we... How long would it take to bronze the unicorn?
It would take a little bit more time and a little bit more money because you don't have all the supplies to do it. But I mean,
how much time?
You have time, right?
Well, that's what I thought last time, and then an army showed up at my door before I could raise my dead.
Well, that army's still out there. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I those diggers that I was talking about sneaking off. I think I do sneak off a couple. I'm like, hey, we've got another hole for you to dig. Come over this way. And like, I try and do this. I probably do this under Lord Song's nose if at all possible. But
sneak around behind the blacksmith shop and dig here.
Yeah.
All right, you guys dig up this.
I really did love that there was a unicorn just buried in an unmarked grave in the yard, but I guess a bronzed unicorn would be even better.
You're still going to need to strip the flesh from it.
Yeah, it's been rotting in underground for a while, but yeah, it's probably pretty smelly and nasty. Jebib is responsible for this task. That's
so. It's been a few days, almost a week since all this happened, when a courier arrives.
So we have not gotten around to the animate dead ritual. Has anyone gathered on to what's going on? Like, has anyone asked? Like, is there hype building about this ritual, or is it just me?
No one asks you anything directly, and you're pretty insular from the people. You don't spend a lot of time talking with the common folk. So what they think eludes you quite a bit.
Right, so 7 days, we get a letter?
Yeah, not quite 7 days.
I would have liked to have been scrying randomly about, actually, probably almost every morning.
Where? In just the surrounding area?
Yeah, I'm looking for the army, first of all. I think I will also, a couple of times, check on the villages generally. Like, so we're talking 5 days. I'll probably do 1 clairvoyance a day or whatever.
You see no sign of the army, and you see no...
I poke around Misty Rapids, and then I peek on a few of my the farthest east villages, to see if they're healthy and well.
Sure. You'll have to do 1 clairvoyance to first get the location of the villages exactly, because you've never traveled there.
So I start doing that.
Sure.
Sounds like nothing is amiss.
Nothing's amiss, and you don't see the army anywhere.
Peaceful on the Tether Wilds, sure. Peaceful.
On the 20th of June, a courier arrives wearing the colors of Countess Castilian. Good.
Can I have acquired some fresh pineal gland from the butcher at some point
this
time?
That's fine.
Or from some of the bodies? No, that's unnecessary.
The courier has a summons for Baron Song to come to Thornwood to explain what has happened between Misty Rapids and Cauldron.
Does he tell me so, or do I hear this down the grapevine?
I think you and Haynes are present when this gets said.
You know what I'm going to do is I can summon a phantom steed and have my bronzed gnoll ride atop a bronzed unicorn.
Ooh. And then you give it a magic axe and a magic shield?
Yes. Or dual wielding magic axe and wind shear.
I don't think skeletons can dual wield.
No, you're right. And they do the same damage regardless of the weapon type. But an axe is probably more useful.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, we were deeply immersed in. There's something important going on, and Georg's sitting there daydreaming about Noel. I'm probably doodling on a piece of paper, and Noel writing on an undead unicorn. I'm already starting to design what we're because there's now a stump where the horn was. We'll have to attach a lance or something to it.
Baron Song informs you of this and kind of snaps you out of your daze. Georg! Georg! Did you hear what the red message read?
Yes, Lady Thornwood, she...
Countess Castilian.
Yes, Countess Castilian.
Yes.
She summoned you, or us, or...
Me.
I like to go over to look at it.
Me. But I figured a fitting entrance would be appropriate. When will this gray skin wear off?
Not until it is broken.
Break it for me.
Yes. I think the only way to break it is to hit him. Is there anyone nearby?
You and Haynes.
I think I relish this. I stand up and I take the bronze quarterstaff, bronze serpent in both hands, and just let baseball bat swing at the side of Baron Song's face.
You aim for his face?
Oh yeah. Oh wait, maybe I got ahead of myself there. We'll see. Is that called shot face? So it just I send sparks of dust across, and then I proceed to chip away at it a few more times until he is dispelled of his.
He levels his gaze at you after the perhaps over-eager blow at his head.
So I don't remember how many he had, but it will disappear after some blow.
Once that's done, he says, "Good. Now, I will need an honor guard. Haynes, will you accompany me? Do away with his skin as well. But 2 of my soldiers that will walk with me, they should be
stoned.
Yes.
Right. I hit Haynes a few times, or tell him he can.
It wears off on Haynes, but he requests that 2 of his soldiers be stoned for the.
Am I coming with him on this?
No.
It's gonna be all right without me. Oh, well, I cast stone skin on them. What magic? He's got a ring of levitation, right? Nah, he's got Haynes. He'll be fine. Whatever. He'll be fine. And if they murder Lord Song, I may just be better off. I may be better off if he gets assassinated. So we'll leave it at that. Okay.
How long will it take you to cast 2 stone skins?
I will need to rememorize. I can do 2 in one day if I have it.
All right. So he will set off in 3 days. He's just got to get his affairs in order here. Is there anything in particular you wanted to do in the next 3 days?
Raise my undead army.
That can be done. We've spent a week and change doing this. Do you want to raise the army before Baron Song leaves, or do you want to do it after he's gone?
I'll do it before he leaves. I'll do it whenever I can. Yeah. I want to be deciphering Natasha's spellbook with Magics this time as well.
Yes. There are many pages, so we can say your time is... Well, yeah, you could just be mostly reading the book, because you're waiting for people to strip the flesh from the horse and bronze the skeletons and all that jazz. So you can just read. On the 22nd is when on the 23rd is when Baron Song is going to be taking off for Thornwood. And I think that morning is when you do your arcane ceremony.
Okay.
You have to expend a soul from your amulet,
I do indeed.
and that
Do I
gives you a
have?
10% chance to fail, right?
Well, if I expend a soul, it brings me to level 9, which is high enough level to cast Animate Dead.
Okay, but it's being cast at 10th level. Does that matter?
I don't think that's how it works. I think it's only if you do 2. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that makes sense. All right.
I
So
think if I were casting it at 8th level, I would have a 10% chance to fail.
all right. So you raise a bronzed unicorn minus the horn. I take it you didn't bronze the horn and stick it back on there.
No, I would like to eventually replace it with some other implement. I don't know if that is done at this time.
Like a conch shell or something?
Or even just a bronzed horn.
Okay.
Is that something that we would have done at this point, or is that later?
You could have had made or made yourself a bronze horn attached to
What
it.
about attaching wind shear to its face?
That's a little awkward.
Yeah, alright.
Alright, you successfully raise your 3 gnolls and unicorn. The soldiers in the keep are highly unnerved by your raising of the dead.
They're not. No, we made them. They're golems. They weren't dead. I'm not a necromancer.
They are highly.
I'll remove the animate dead from. So I think this happens. So they probably wake up to this.
Wake up to these.
Yeah, and I think everything's like. I think I got up in the wee hours of the morning, and like I think everything's now cleaner. Like there's no more mysterious pile of bones. Like my blacksmith is now tidied up, and there's just these gnolls just sort of looming about the keep one morning.
The soldiers, before they go into the yard, kind of stop and look to you with like that.
I'm removing the animate dead spell from this roll.
And after seeing you just kind of
R.I.P.
not paying too much attention to them, they slowly enter into the field and kind of get close to the skeletons.
I think they're just sort of, at this point, they're kind of, so I tested with them before. I assume, do they need, I have to communicate with them in verbal language, correct? Can I speak any language? Can I speak to them in, like, Hobgoblin? And do they innately understand? Does it have to be a language that they knew?
Asking all the right questions, man.
I think my impression was that it's like you have to make verbal commands, but they almost doesn't sound like they need to be coherent to anyone.
Spell causes existing remains to become animated and obey the simple verbal commands of the caster.
So I could even make up my own code language. I just have to.
No, I think you've got to speak a proper language. It might even have to be your native language.
Why would that be the case? I think I should be able to command the unicorn in Elven. If it needs to, if it like had a language that it spoke.
Fair enough. You can command it in any real language.
Okay, so I probably talk to them in Ogre for the record. I don't know that it will ever come up if anyone else speaks Ogre. So for the most part, my commands will be incomprehensible.
Okay.
Maybe I'll whisper to the poor unicorn in Elven from time to time. But I don't think that the souls moved on, right? These are just they're bones that have been reanimated.
Look, we're talking about raising the dead. At some point, you got to just suspend your disbelief and be like, all right, it's got to be a real language. Somehow that has magic.
I'm not arguing that. I'm more, I don't know, existential. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Metaphysics of where the soul is now.
Yes. Where is it indeed?
Yeah. I had experiments, but Lord Song did off with all of my potential test subjects. So, let's see.
Before he leaves,
yeah, I will tell Lord Song. I mean, I guess he's probably aware of what I've raised in the.
You did mention to him the
Misty Rapids.
You did mention to him the undead guards on the treasure chamber, right?
Yeah. So that's what I will be telling him the morning when I see him that morning that I raised them. I tell him with all of this newfound treasure, I thought it prudent to devise a way to secure
He nods.
Or loots.
Have
And then I will make a. I don't know if he wants to head down. Where does he have a treasure chamber?
He does. It's small. He asks you to post 2 of them inside the treasure chamber, and 1 of them on his door. But the one on his door to just stand and just stand there, not to attack anything. Just to be menacing.
All right. I make a show of telling the gnolls to listen to Lord Song's commands.
I don't think that
actually
will work,
better.
though.
Yeah. Okay.
Will it?
I don't know. Are they smart in it, or do they only obey the summoner,
I think they only obey the summoner.
or whatever priest comes along and tries to turn them?
Yes.
Okay. I want 1. Okay, so I'll put 1 on the treasure chamber and 1 on his door. I don't think they will actually have any. I mean, the 1 on the treasure chamber, I tell to attack anyone except for me or Lord Song that comes through.
Okay.
The 1 on the door, I think, might just be standing there like a statue for now.
I think that's his purpose. I think Baron Song wants to just intimidate anyone that might try to enter his room without running the risk of killing his servants.
And I guess I probably don't. I mean, I was imagining marching into Cauldron, this black robe wizard, with my entourage of gnoll guards. But I guess we'll probably play it cool. And I guess, yeah. So I won't be heading around everywhere with a skeletal gnoll.
Well, yeah. Well, you can always take one out of the treasure chamber if you want.
Yeah. So I guess for now the 2 will be there. My unicorn will probably be just a furniture piece near the smithy for now.
Yes. The other horses shy and buck when it gets too close, so you'll have to keep it near the smithy.
Yeah.
Baron Song asks you to construct a second stable for it, eventually, or have it constructed for them.
Phantom stable for my skeletal steeds.
Yes, maybe with 2 slots, 1 for the undead and 1 for a phantom steed if you need to park it. It's been causing problems with the horses, and enough of that. And before he leaves, he reminds you that his mother is in Pernissus, and he would like you to go there and find her. But to leave whenever you feel like the Misty Rapids is safe. He leaves you in charge of Song Keep, much to Kel Crystal's protests, and then departs. And I think we're going to take a break right there. We'll do the last segment in a few minutes. See you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.